It's the Empty Room Podcast, Episode 10. Tonight we talk about secret spaceships, MeUndies corporate decisions. Does shortening a game 4 minutes help? Count how many times Erik says, I like it. And 33, what? Empty Room Podcast. Welcome. Empty Room Podcast. Erik, do you know what time it is?
It's about 8:45.
No, Erik, it's episode 10. We've made it double digits.
Double
It
digits.
actually happened.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've run out of fingers, now we're moving on to the toes.
That's incredible. And you thought we wouldn't make it past episode 2.
I never said that.
He did, folks. He did. He thought this was a bad idea, but I convinced him. I said, you know what? This is going to be a great idea. And here we are, episode 10. Now, we're not on a website yet. We haven't
Soon.
made it to Stitcher. We haven't
It'll be
made it to
soon.
iTunes. However, I hear there are possible plans. There's always possible plans.
Always possible plans. But no, we're heading towards moving the podcast to a website and doing all the stuff that he just said that I wasn't paying attention to. But yeah, coming soon.
The Empty Room Podcast, episode 10. Welcome, everybody. I am Scott. This is Erik.
Hi.
It is our 10th episode. We are really stoked to have lasted this long, and now we're going to move on, and we're going to
Good night, everybody.
basically we're going to turn this show on its head and do it ass backwards.
Yes, ass backwards. I love ass backwards. That didn't sound right.
It's going to have to be edited, perhaps. Anywho, normally we save entertainment for last, and we have a couple of things in the middle, and the news starts first. But Erik, I'm going to flip it.
You're going to flip it.
Flip it on its head, baby.
This is unheard of.
Flip it. We're going to start with entertainment. We're going to end with the news. And we're going to have the sports and the Pope in the middle, as it should be for episode 10.
It's like a Pope sandwich.
Every day's a Pope sandwich. So, entertainment. Are you ready, sir?
I am. Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about size. You're a pretty big dude, and I'm a pretty big dude. So
I'm bigger than you.
So you know what we want to see?
Yeah.
We want to see a big-ass cow. You know what the biggest cow in the world is?
How is this entertainment?
It's entertainment because it's a big-ass cow.
Okay, fine.
The cow
No, I'll do
is
that.
6'4" tall, Erik. That's a large cow.
That's a huge cow.
That's a gigantic bovine.
What the hell happened?
I don't know, but man, do I want to see it. I want to see I want to see a cow that meets me right eye to eye at 6'4".
That is mightily impressive. I can't wait to eat a steak off that cow.
I would think the length of the cow might make the meat even more yummy. I don't know.
I just want to say I've done it.
But that's a big cow.
That is a huge cow.
I mean, have you seen a cow? I mean, cows are pretty big in their own right. They're bigger than you think they are normally.
Yeah, that's true.
But a 6'4", I mean, that's
massive.
It's a large cow. And if that ain't entertainment, I don't know what is.
That's fair. That's fair.
I had a segue for this next one, but I'm going to leave it be. Gillian Anderson from X-File fame.
Jiggly Jillian?
What?
I don't know. I'm just kind of... I'm warming up here.
Oh,
I'm usually
wow.
much better than this.
Gillian Anderson from the X-Files, who, we were giant fans of the X-Files back in the day.
Of course.
She has petitioned the movie guys who are making the new Ghostbusters film, Ghostbusters 3, which is supposed to have an all-female cast. She wants to be in it, and she wants to be in it bad. She's petitioned them, saying, hey, I'm the girl. Sign me up. What do you think about that choice?
I like it. I wanted to do it. I read this story a little while ago, and I was all for it. I was like, yeah. Another X-Files first, but no, yeah, then the Ghostbusters thing.
There is another X-Files movie coming, yes?
Yeah, probably, but it's a ways off.
Do you think David Duchovny will make a Ghostbusters appearance
No, why would he?
as a ghost?
No, why would he?
Just to have
No,
Gillian
stop
Anderson
it. Stop it. You know, just
shoot him with a proton blast and make him disperse. No.
this is what happens when you're not funny.
Wow. Wow. Listen to you. All right. Well, moving on then. Did you like the Lego Movie?
Never saw it.
What?
I never saw it.
What? The Lego Movie is outstanding, Eric. We have it here. We should watch it right after.
We have it here.
We should do it
right now.
We have it right here. All right, folks, hold on. We're gonna stop the tape and we're gonna watch the movie right now. And hopefully, when we get back, Eric will know something about it. All right, Eric. Now that you've watched the movie, are you a better
dumbest shit we've ever
Are
done?
you a bigger fan? I mean, now you're interested, right?
Yeah, it was amazing.
You love Emmett. You love Batman. You love all those wonderful, kooky characters that make up the Lego Movie. Well, just trust me, Eric was really thrilled with the flick. However, there is talk that there's going to be a spin-off movie from the Lego Movie that's going to feature only the Batman character. And you know how Eric loves his Batman.
Sure.
So, my question to you, Eric, is do you think a Lego Movie spin-off featuring just Batman is going to do pretty well? And my thought initially was, yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's going to do well.
Because it's clever, it's going to be unique, it's going to have all the Lego...
Oh, it's clever beyond clever.
Yeah,
I
so,
mean, what I saw was beyond clever. And
Yeah, I
you
mean,
can
it's-
tell by
it's-
that period of time that we weren't talking that we watched it.
Well, we stopped the tape, Eric.
I know we did.
Then
I
we
know it.
And then we added the tape back together.
Then we
So you actually saw the film, and like I said, Batman he steals a lot of scenes. He's kind of self-centered, but that's Batman. So at the end of the day, I think that'll be a winner, and I think it'll probably do as well as the Lego Movie because the Lego Movie was a smash hit. Smash.
And now I know why.
All right, let's talk a little bit about death, shall we?
Wow, that was quite the segue.
Well, you go from the high that is the Lego, and then you go, it's time to bring it back down to earth a little bit and get a little serious.
Do you have issues that require medication?
No, I'm good, everybody. But thanks for thinking about me. So, couple people passed away that we know about, and we have some updates on how they went.
We have some updates as to how it's going with them. So let's get to it. Because we're all looking forward to talking about
The
this.
first is Joan Rivers, and the last week when she passed away, she was getting surgery done on her throat, and there had been a big to-do about how the doctor on staff was taking selfies during the surgical operation. It probably was an operation that should have been done at that particular clinic. It should have been done at a hospital. We know that the doctor skipped town. We also know that Melissa Rivers is filing a lawsuit against said doctor that skipped town. So we got the autopsy, and basically what happened, it may or may not have been due to the doctor's issues, but it was probably more based on the anesthetic, because I guess the anesthesia they gave her really slowed everything down to the point where she lost oxygen to her brain, and that's how she passed.
Okay.
And then the next person was Richard Keels, who, for those of you who don't remember, was a Bond villain. He was Jaws. And Eric
Two movies.
And Eric knows him best as...
I can't remember the character's name. What was the character's name?
He was in Happy Gilmore, and he was the one of Happy's employers at the construction site.
Yeah.
And he was a monster there.
What a monster.
And he was the last we saw him, he was chasing Shooter McGavin.
And I'll see you out in the parking lot. I'll get you, Shooter.
So, unfortunately, he passed away as well. But he was a monster. He was a 7-footer.
He was huge.
Big dude. It turns out his heart just finally gave on him, and that was the result of his autopsy. So,
He was in the running, well, sort of, kind of in the running for Fezzik in Princess Bride.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, before they gave it to the one and only man who could have ever played that role, Andre the Giant.
Did you know, though, that he was so physically weak by then that a lot of the stuff of the strength really was just him with cranes and stuff? Like, he really was struggling by the end of that.
A terrible back problem.
Yeah.
Due to his size and wrestling and so on and so on.
Yeah.
Yes, I did know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, that was a recent revelation for me that a lot of the stunts, because the reason it's strange is that if you look back on Andre's career in wrestling and whatnot, a lot of the strength situations in that movie, you could totally believe Andre just doing it because he was a freak of strength. And I use that term lovingly. He was a very strong individual. So, like, when I hear that it had a lot to do, during that movie, they were using cranes and whatnot because he was so weak he couldn't perform a lot of the stuff that you would generally think that he could do. It was surprising.
He couldn't even lift up Robin Wright, who couldn't even. She weighed 100 pounds at the time. She couldn't lift her up.
Yeah, very surprising. So it was.
I actually just finished reading "As You Wish" by Cary Elwes.
Oh yeah,
about his time making the movie and all that stuff. Very, very good book. I highly recommend it to everybody because everyone loves that movie. And if you don't, I want to talk to you. So go away.
Well, I haven't read the book yet, but I would love to borrow it. Cary Elwes has always been an interesting sort of folk hero for me in the movie world. Whether it be that movie or whether it be his time with the Robin Hood thing for Mel Brooks or his time with the TV show Psych, always been an interesting guy. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see some of the backstory.
Probably some of my favorite guest star work that I've seen in the last, in terms of a character, as a Despero on Psych is so much. He was so much fun. I loved it.
Yeah, no, he's good. So, did you learn anything in the book? I mean, not to spoil anything, but did you learn anything that you hadn't known before?
That I hadn't known already? A little snippets here and there, like, I'm trying to think. All of it was very interesting. Like more of the processes of how Cary got the role.
How about working with Mandy Patinkin? And
Mandy's an intense guy.
I heard when he hasn't he quit shows due to verbiage he hasn't liked, and
he quit.
He's a pretty tough character to work with sometimes because he has such a high moral value system.
He quit. What was it? Criminal Minds after the second season because he didn't like the subject matter. He had publicly stated that if he had known it was going to be that way, he would never have taken the job. But now he's working on Homeland, where people die a lot. Apparently, I've never actually watched the show.
Yeah,
but
he was great, by the way. It was a show that only ran 2 or 3 seasons. But if you ever get a chance to see the show Dead Like Me,
I love that show.
What a great show! He was really good.
Don't watch the movie.
Yeah, the movie kind of
that was terrible.
But the TV show was really good. And our last story, the entertainment news, and I know you've been waiting for this with bated breath, Erik. Heidi Klum is now single. She has divorced Seal, and now she is on the prowl. She can be caught. I don't have her digits yet for you, but, if you want to make your move, now's the time. Seal's out of the picture.
Okay.
You loved her in Project Runway, I remember. And
I didn't watch Project
Sure
Runway.
You did. You were all about Project Runway. I've never seen you more interested in sewing stuff together and making costumes, and it was amazing. And now that Seal is out of the picture and she is open for business, I mean, looking for a partner. I don't mean like you think open.
Wow.
You should get involved, Erik. Give her a call.
Like she's a bagel shop.
No. But that divorce finally came through, and
she's got fresh buns in the oven.
Oh no! That usually means she's pregnant. I don't think she is. That's our entertainment news.
Way to end entertainment on a high note,
Erik. I won't. If you're gonna call her, do it.
We're just gonna cut this whole section.
If you're gonna call her,
cut this whole section.
Just
it was
do it.
A waste of time.
Give her a call.
Waste of time.
It's that time again. that time we love, the Pope Watch.
Yay, Pope Watch!
We do love the Pope. This Pope has turned out to be something incredibly special. And we like talking about his decisions, his proclamations, and his word. So it's the Pope Watch, Eric. Any thoughts before we jump into the Pope Watch?
No.
No, okay. So the Pope issued a statement via Twitter and during one of his speeches this past
The Pope is on the Twitter?
He is, oh yeah. The Pontiff?
Is that his Twitter name?
Yeah, Pontiff. The Pontiff.
At the Pontiff?
I think that's right. I mean, the Empty Room podcast follows the Pontiff. So he posted this Twitter situation, and he said, and I quote the Popus,
The Popus?
to change the world, we must be good to those that cannot repay us. That's pretty good stuff right there.
I agree. It's quite inspiring in a fortune cookie kind of way.
Are you suggesting? Are you suggesting that the Pope writes all the fortune cookies?
Or that the Pope has secretly been replaced by a giant walking fortune cookie.
Wow. You know, some of those messages that you get in the fortune cookies are pretty profound. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. No. There's no way. There's no way the Pope is writing all the fortunes in the fortune cookie. However, might he be a fortune cookie?
This has gotten weird. Let's backtrack to...
So, what do you think about what he said?
I like it. I think it's a good idea. I'm not going to do it, but I think it's a good idea.
I think it goes along the lines of when you do nice things for people and you do things that are helpful to people, the idea of looking for repayment is all too prevalent in today's society. It's what are you going to do for me? And I think from his perspective, and again, who am I to try to interpret the Pope, but I think from a perspective that he may have is that if we can change that attitude, say, hey, I'm going to help you regardless. And knowing that you can't pay me back, I'm still going to be there for you and help you out. If we can do that, we can be a better society and create a better tomorrow.
I like it.
So if that's his message, I'm all for it.
Yep.
It's kind of that pay it forward stuff that became popular during a movie one time about 10 years ago, 5 years ago. I forget what it was.
Guess what it was called?
Pay It Forward.
Yeah.
It was a great movie, I guess.
It was all right.
Yeah. So not looking for repayment, that's about right.
Yeah. I like it.
Is he a good guy?
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy. We both thought this would last longer, but it's not.
Well, when he only makes one proclamation, it's hard.
It's true.
We needed to talk.
You need to say more.
He needs, that 1 week where he said 3 things and it was perfect.
Oh, man. We just kept talking forever.
And then the best part was it was 3 things and one of them contradicted the other thing. And it was like, this is sweet. This is so neat. I don't know what to think.
It's like, you're going to want to do this. Then you're going to want to do this. But that doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think back then it was in support of Christianity. So, I mean, if you're helping out Christianity in a violent way, that violence is almost okay.
I think we should stop now.
Perhaps. But anyway, the Pope is a good guy.
Good guy.
Can you believe we're doing sports and then news last?
Yeah.
So unusual.
I know, it is.
So unusual. We've come to the sports part of the show, and first thing I want to talk about is the New England Patriots and their uninspiring win against the Jets on Thursday.
A win's a win.
It's a W, very good. However, they looked like shite.
Yeah, they didn't work. They didn't. You know what I'm trying to say.
They made the Jets look pretty darn good, and the Jets are not good. They made that quarterback of theirs, who had been struggling for most of the year, Geno Smith, made him look quite effective.
A win is a win.
And we've lost some people. I heard Chandler Jones is hurt now too.
He is hurt. We picked up 2 more guys.
So what? What guys?
Some guys.
Just some guys. We're adding guys, and
I don't know what you're about. The Tennessee guy.
Yeah, well,
Something. I don't know.
it feels like 2 years ago or 3 years ago where the offense was kind of okay, and the defense is falling apart again. It was last year actually. Last year when we lost all those players to injury.
Your memory's not so good, is it?
No, not at all. I'll be amazed if I remember what I ate breakfast for yesterday.
That was a weird sentence. I apologize, but that was weird. All right.
So anyway, a win is a win, and now they play the Chicago Bears coming up.
The Bears.
The Bears can run the ball.
And the Bears kind of hate each other right now.
Yeah, they're not getting along.
Good. Dissension in the ranks. Screw them.
I just hope that defensively we can stop the run enough to get the W, because I think Tom Brady has fixed his.
Brady's fine now. Brady's fine.
Yeah.
We need Big Vince to step up in a big way.
But the problem with Vince is that Vince is coming off a really severe injury.
So what? He's Vince.
And he plays a ton of downs.
Good.
And he weighs probably more than a whale.
Unlikely, but I understand your point.
I mean, at some point, the body's going to break down again because
he's fine.
He's old.
He's not old.
He is old.
He's not old.
He's old.
No, he's not old.
He's super old.
We can do this forever. He's not old.
And then we've lost a running back or two.
Good.
And, what?
I didn't mean that the way it sounded.
And
who did we lose? I can't remember.
We lost Ridley. Ridley got tackled in the knee, tore it apart.
Oh, that's right. I forgot
about that. And then we lost Mayo early.
Again?
Yeah, Mayo's gone for the rest of the season. He's got a shoulder injury, I believe. I could be wrong on that. I can't remember the exact injury. But the point is, we're in the injury zone again, where we've lost some very key players. This is what Belichick teams do. They get injured, and then everyone steps up, and they still manage to keep playing well. But
I think we're going to be fine.
Bears at home.
Ridley can easily be replaced by Ben Vereen. Mayo. We just got that linebacker guy from Tennessee. Was he a linebacker?
The linebacker? I thought he was a defensive lineman. I thought he was a big.
We got a linebacker too. I just don't remember where he's from.
Well, Deontay Skinner is the rookie who's slid into that role, and apparently he's doing okay.
Well, because at the time we didn't get the guy from Tennessee.
Who's the guy from Tennessee?
I don't know.
So apparently there's a guy from Tennessee that has entered the fray.
Yeah, but no, you're right. He's a lineman,
defensive lineman, because the
people. I need you to call into the show
because the first round pick. What's that guy? Easley is not doing the job. So they needed a guy from Tennessee.
Who?
Anyway. So with that being said, that's the fortune of the Patriots after that Jet game. Let's talk about the fortune of the Jets after that Patriot game.
The Jets suck.
Right. And they needed help. So.
Oh, they got... What's his face from Seattle?
Percy Harvin. Now the reason they were able
jackhole.
The reason they were able to pry Percy Harvin away from Seattle,
because he's a dink and no one likes him.
Well, apparently he got in 2 fist fights, one before the Super Bowl and one this year.
Nice.
So Seattle says, "Fine, we're done with you. We're going to ship you over to the Jets." Now,
as if the Jets couldn't be awful enough. Let's add this guy.
Well, yeah, I mean, he might cause a lot of problems, but I thought what was very interesting was what the package was. They traded him for a 6th-round pick. Now, the 6th-round pick stays if certain things happen. And that certain thing is, will he make the team next year? If he makes the team next year, it turns into a 4th-round pick. So think about this. The Seahawks are already betting the fact that he's going to get in a fight there and get kicked off the team. That's why it was a 6th-round pick.
A bet, I might add, they're probably going to win.
Perhaps.
No, perhaps. They're going to win this one. Because he's kind of a dink.
Well, speaking of dinks.
I love dinks.
Ray Rice is looking to get reinstated by November.
Oh, good. Don't call it a comeback. He's knocked out bitches before.
Whoa, easy. He's filed a lawsuit against the NFL and the Baltimore Ravens for wrongful termination.
Oh, that's garbage. He totally deserved to get fired.
Well, I mean, yeah. But we had talked about this previously in other episodes, and I know many other pundits have spoken about it, where he's not going to give up the money that easily. And because of the fact that Goodell did such a shoddy job of getting through this.
Did you say Godot?
Goodell.
Oh, sorry. I heard something else entirely.
Well, Goodell did such a shoddy job of getting through this that there was going to be openings for lawyers to get this guy back on the...
yeah, they're forcing him to testify, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's going to be a big deal. This is going to be crazy. So it's not over for Goodell. And Ray Rice, I bet you, will get back on the field. My question is...
who's going to take him?
Well, Baltimore.
No.
If it's a wrongful well, you're right. If it's a wrongful termination, they have to pay him, but they don't have to bring him back on.
Yeah.
Who would pick him up? But the other part of the problem is, Eric,
a team full of degenerates.
He's not the Raiders.
The Raiders might do it.
He's not any good anymore. That's the other part. It's not like it's Adrian Peterson, who's a very high quality running back. Ray Rice is fallen off the success wagon. He's not running a lot. Well, he hadn't run a lot during the previous year. He had struggled. So it'll be interesting to see. Do you think the Raiders would pick him up? Do you think the Jets would pick him up? Do you think, you're talking about teams that are pretty dysfunctional? The Seahawks might pick him up.
Let's get rid of Percy Harvin, bring in Ray Rice.
Do you think the Golden Boy Productions would pick him up? Good left hook, get back into the boxing ring? No.
The Saints?
The Saints, they're pretty crazy too, aren't they? The Cowboys?
No, the Cowboys are actually
they're in a good spot, but adding a running back to a nice team that's doing well, that's always
for when Tony Romo blows it, because he will.
Well, we all know that Tony Romo can have his issues. So I don't know, it'll be interesting to see. But I'm betting that he'll be back in the football field within at least November, if not December. From there, it's going to be the thing of it. The thing is that the NFL can make mistakes like this because they have so much money. They can make mistakes and just make stuff go away. It'll just be interesting to see if they're going to bring him back on. Would you go see Ray Rice?
Nope.
Because Erik has morals.
Scruples.
All right, sticking with football, we talked about the Cowboys a little bit. Have you ever heard of Joseph Randle?
Nope.
Joseph Randle plays for the Cowboys.
Oh, good.
Joseph Randle was a bad boy last week. Joseph Randle went to a mall, went to a store, and stole some undies. Shoplifted them. They're called MeUndies. That's the brand. MeUndies. MeUndies. And he shoplifted them and got caught. Was arraigned. Arrested. Will be going to trial.
In that order.
Something like that. And this week, MeUndies.
What did they do?
MeUndies?
Yeah.
They signed Joseph Randle to be their spokesperson.
Well, he really wanted them, so he must really like them. So let's hire him. And then he can have all the MeUndies he wants. Why was he shoplifting?
He's a professional football player. He makes a ton of money.
Is he a starter?
I don't know. I don't know if it was one of those situations where he liked the thrill of it. Some people are just natural Steelers and they like the thrill of that situation. Usually they play for the Steelers.
You mean the Cowboys?
What?
What does he play for?
He plays for the Cowboys, but if he's a natural Steeler, shouldn't he play for the Steelers?
Come on!
Perhaps.
Write your hate mail to the Empty Room Podcast
at gmail.com. Perhaps he was feeling like his Bundys weren't perfect and needed to get. I need a better feeling down there right now, and
I can't take these his Bundys. I need my Bundys or me Bundys or whatever the
MeUndies,
whatever the hell they are. I don't care what they are.
But what if you're the corporate exec of MeUndies, and I've never heard of MeUndies, but we're talking about MeUndies right now, and I'm thinking this is it. This is our break. We'll give Joseph Randle.
We've been searching for that one thing to put us over the top, and some football player is stealing our undies. Let's hire him. Brilliant.
Do you think? I'm sure the money's probably around $25,000. That's probably about right when you're hiring someone to be a spokesperson of the NFL caliber. Do you think all that money just goes directly to the legal fees to get out of the issue that he stole MeUndies from?
Well, I mean, if they did the store drop the charges?
No, the store's going forward.
Really, the store's
as far as I know, yeah, the store's going forward.
Awesome.
MeUndies. It sounds like some old guy. He stole MeUndies. So that's a great story. I like that one.
That's really fun.
Yeah. Eric, you're not a big NBA fan. I know this.
No, that's why I'm yawning right now.
Exactly. So the NBA is trying to get people like you to be more interested. People that aren't really NBA fans. And they think that the biggest reason the NBA is losing or doesn't have fans like you is because the game's too long. 48 minutes is way too long, apparently. And what the NBA wanted to try this past week with the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics was a game shortened by 4 minutes.
So let me get this straight. They went from a 48-minute game to a 44-minute game.
That's right.
Did anyone notice? Was anyone watching?
I think people did watch. Did they notice? Probably not. I think the NBA is
stupid.
Well, I think they're disillusioned. The real reason they have problems in terms of viewership has nothing to do with how long or short the game is. The game has been 48 minutes long since the NBA first came into being. The problem with the NBA is that the basketball is not very good.
No, it really isn't.
What has happened...
And they have the worst refs in the game.
The referees seem to be on the take. They make decisions based on who...
They like and who they don't like.
Right. Who, the NBA league wants to win, which is always disturbing. Is there a truth to it? I think there's a hint. Is it as much as I think it could? It is? Probably not. But I think the real issue is that the level of play is pretty low. And the reason that's happened is because of this whole rule that you have to stay a year and then you can bolt. It used to be back in the day, back when, 80s, early 90s, you stayed all 4 years in college to play basketball. And then when you got out, number one, you were a man, not a boy.
Oh, man.
Number two, you learned how to play basketball correctly, and you were good at it. Only the top players. You have, those guys from sophomore year to senior year averaged around 20 points a game, got 14 boards, about 8 assists. They knew how to play. What happens now is that kid who has great athletic ability, can run the floor, dunk the ball, do all those fun things that people think are important but aren't really. He goes to Kentucky to play for Calipari.
Oh, Calipari, the douche.
Calipari says, look, play for me for a year and you're going to get an NBA contract and you're going to make a lot of money. He plays for a year, gets around 10, 11 points a game, and then gets drafted in the NBA and makes a ton of money. But that kid doesn't know how to play basketball. He knows how to shoot. He knows how to run. He knows how to dunk. He doesn't know how to play defense, doesn't know how to run an offense, doesn't know how to do any of those things. And then you put those kids out on the floor, and the game gets super boring because they miss a lot, they don't play any defense, and the game looks like crap.
Dog doo-doo.
So that's the real issue. It has nothing to do with how much time is on the clock.
It's true.
If you were really interested in shortening the game, make it interesting, I think we have to go back to something that, our grandfather used to talk about, which was play to 100. First team to 100 wins. And that's it. Take time out of it. We play to 100. You'll have quicker games. You'll have more interest because it's all about, what happens when it's 98-89 and all you can do is just try to stop them from getting to 100. Like, talk about the things that you'll implement to try to make sure that doesn't occur.
I like it.
So,
NBA, are you listening?
No, of course they're not.
That was a rhetorical question.
Oh, I'm not supposed to answer that?
No, you're not supposed to answer that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Make the kids stay all 4 years. Don't take kids that are 18, 19 years old into the NBA. I always loved when they would do that analysis, and they'd say, well, he's a great talent, and with a lot of NBA reps, he's going to be good. I'm like, dude, he's supposed to get the reps in college. He's not supposed to come into the NBA and need reps. You don't become a professional basketball player through reps playing in the NBA. Your repetitions happen at the collegiate level. And then you come in and you become a professional athlete, a professional basketball player. So I really think the NBA is missing the mark here.
Yeah, I think they are too.
So, anything else you're thinking about on the sports level? I know you love your curling.
I do. I love the little brooms. They're so cute.
All right, one more to go, and this is my favorite. I'm looking forward to it. All right, Eric, we've come to the last section of the Empty Room podcast.
Entertainment?
No.
But it's usually entertainment.
I know. We've already done the entertainment, and the entertainment was kind of short.
Yes, it
So what do you think? What's up?
was. Well, I think it's time for the news.
The news. The news that makes us want to...
Booze.
That one hurt me. Normally we don't end with the news. Normally we start off the show with the news, but we flipped it on its head because this is episode 10. We've made it to the big deuce. No, not deuce.
What?
The big 1-0.
The big onesie.
What?
Sorry. We made it to episode 10. That's
All
what
right,
we're talking
episode 10. Let's start off with this news story.
about. Alrighty.
There's a secret space plane called the X-37B. It's secret. We don't know.
Why do you know about it?
We don't know much about it. Well, the reason I know about it is that it returned to Earth last week. And it was collected by NASA, which, remember, NASA is only partially a space program right now. But it was collected by NASA, and it was brought in, and they are being very tight-lipped about what it was used for, what it collected, what it recorded. It's a secret.
Aliens.
Perhaps.
Multi-dimensional beings.
Perhaps. Space dust.
That was actually there's something to say. Space dust. That's more than likely.
So, it raises some questions. Number one, what are they sending up into space that's so secret? Number two, what's so secret about collecting stuff from space? Number three, it's back home. Why is it so secret?
Basically, what you want to know is why is it so secret?
Yeah, I want to know why it's so secret. And this is not all. Here's the worst part. It's a 2-year trip. But there's rumor that it's been up before and we just didn't know about it because you know what? It was secret.
You don't say. I don't know, man. Hey, how's...
Well, you know, the administration wants to go to Mars. That was one of the things that they talked about throughout, the last 4 years.
Really?
Yeah, the idea
Didn't
want
they
to go.
just slash NASA's...
Right, but
Damn it.
those are details, Eric. They did
Details.
talk.
We're going to Mars, but you only get $5. Make it work.
There's duct tape. There's fuel. So anyway, if they're going to Mars, I don't know, but that was something that was talked about. I don't know what possibly they could be doing up there. There's plenty to speculate about. Number one, how we deal people living in space for 2 years. That might be interesting. The effects of space on food or water or whatever with extensive amount of time.
Gets all floaty.
Traveling in space. I don't know, but it'd be interesting to know.
They need to invent warp speed.
What the X-37B was doing up there, what it collected up there, and what is happening now. But we don't know. You know why?
Because it's a secret?
Because it's secret.
It's a secret. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
No, and I think it's best that we just move on. Eric, what was your favorite story in episode 9? There was one that we both really, really enjoyed. Do you remember what it was?
No.
It had to do with a crematorium. That was our favorite story.
That was funny.
The story was that there was a crematorium that was trying to do its job for an 800-pound man. And the man was too large.
And it went...
And the flames shot up, hit the roof of the building, and caught it on fire. But the best part of the story is
That was so funny.
that the firemen came and put it out, and then they were cleared to do it to keep going. This feels like the same sort of story. Eric, there is a drive-through mourning situation at a funeral home in Michigan. So let's say friend.
This is something that screams like it should be in like Mississippi or I don't know, somewhere more south than Michigan. But why?
Let's say someone you love, friend, family, wherever, passes away, and you are busy that day.
I don't have time to go to this wake business.
My first thought was like, okay, maybe you have a job and you can't get time off, but almost every employment opportunity says, hey, if you have to go to a wake or a funeral, go ahead, because those are stressful times. Very rarely have I ever heard of that possibility where they say you can't go.
Yeah, it almost never happens.
So I am surprised that this would be an issue. Yeah, I agree, yes. There's no reason why a company wouldn't let you go to a funeral.
No, of course they would. I mean, there's no reason not to.
So,
unless they're just bastards.
So my question to you, Eric, is why do you need a drive-through at the funeral home to mourn someone that passed away?
I don't know. Maybe you didn't know them that well. So you can just, pulling up, honk the horn, and say, hey, sorry, and drive off. Tough loss.
Beep, 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 beep. Drive away. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. And there's always that one guy. Oh, no. So, yeah, that exists. There are funeral home drive-thrus in Michigan where you can mourn at your convenience and probably leave a tip.
Oh, man.
What is this world coming to? Explain it to me, Eric.
What is this world Maybe they just don't have the attention span to get through a wake.
That's a problem, though. If we don't have the attention span to deal with a family member or a loving member
well, no one says family member.
To be fair, you're right. But it seems callous. It does. It seems callous. It seems borderline uninteresting. Why would... That's not how you pay respects. And if I'm a family of the person that died, and I'm standing there in the funeral home, and some guy drives up, meep meep, sorry, I would be pretty pissed off. So I don't understand.
It's ridiculous.
Let's move on. All right, there's a man in St. Petersburg, Florida, that was arrested. And what he was doing, Eric, was that he would go to fast food joints.
As you do.
McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King.
And so on.
Hardee's. I like the Hardee's.
We got it.
He would go to the restroom and take his sweet time in there.
Oh, good. Stinky poo.
No. Well, he would.
Well, maybe. It's what came next. That was really interesting.
He would take his sweet time, and then he would leave. And I think originally everyone thought, wow, that guy just really had to use the bathroom. But what he was doing was that he would go in there and unscrew all the metal pipes and all the metal fixings in the bathroom, put them in his backpack, and then leave and then go sell the metal. And he did that to many, many restaurants. So, Eric, are times that tough where you have to go in and rob the restrooms of fast food joints all throughout the country?
That's pretty funny. I guess so.
Like door handles.
Took the door handles?
Took the door handles.
How'd he get out?
Toilet handles.
Waters everywhere.
Yeah. Apparently the guy was a real piece of work.
Wow, that's amazing.
So that's happened. And now he's arrested and
he's in the jail.
And we're hoping that the judge requires him to put all of them back. The people of the Wendy's would like to use the restroom the correct way with the handle. Because trying to flush a toilet without a handle is very hard. You need a big bucket of water. It's just really hard.
Let's pull the chain up.
Really, really hard. I need gloves. I need sanitizer. Oh, boy. This world's upside down. Eric, I know you hate this because you were a fan of the Coca-Cola. The Coke.
Okay. I forgot where you were going for a second.
You were a fan of the Coca-Cola, but look, when you drink a bottle of Coke, it takes 4 miles of you running to burn that bottle of Coke off.
Is it another one of those gum?
Yowza!
Is this another one of those gum lasts in your stomach for 7 years things?
Well, I don't know.
Which is not true, by the way.
I do know that this was a study, and they found that to burn off 1 bottle of Coke, because Coke is really just liquid candy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so to burn it off, you need to run 4 miles, and I can get 2 down before I'm really hurting. So no Coke for me. No. And there's some cool YouTube videos. I don't know if you've seen these where they actually
boil the Coke.
Yeah, it turns into like a molasses scary monster thing.
Well, it turns into sugar.
Yeah, cooked sugar. So there's that. And then speaking of Coke, Vice President Biden's son, I think his name is Hunter.
Really?
I believe so, because if you have trouble, you can fire 2 shotgun blasts outside your door, and that'll scare the guy off. And ooh, Biden, you crazy son of a bitch! His son was kicked out of the military for a cocaine habit, Eric.
Oh, the other kind of Coke.
Yeah.
Ha!
Yeah. Yeah.
That's showing him.
Apparently, he had been caught once or twice already and was given an ultimatum that he had to stay clean, and
at least share.
And he lasted 4 weeks.
They found him sniffing blow off a hooker's.
Oh, wow. And I'm the guy who's insensitive, by the way. Thank you. Wow. Well, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Hell of a drug. Hell of a drug.
And with that being the case, it's not too hard to believe that someone would be addicted to it, and poor Hunter Biden needs to get into the rehab.
Yeah. Sounds like it. Sounds like he's got a bit of an issue.
Indeed. Indeed he does. Well, we wish him well, because quite frankly, addiction isn't cool, so hopefully he gets the help he needs and stays away from the blow. Move to the blow pop.
Move the blow pop.
Blow pop is nicer, and the watermelon's the best.
I'm a cherry fan.
Really? You like the cherry?
I like the
I
cherry.
like the watermelon. I do some crazy stuff for the watermelon. Now, Eric, if you were living in California and you were turning out the light, getting ready for bed, and all of a sudden you looked at your window and you saw not just 1, but say 2 to 4 creepy clowns out in your backyard with knives, would you be freaked out?
I'd get my gun.
Well, it's California. You might not have a gun because it's,
I'd get in the car and run them over.
Well, that's the problem that some California residents are having. Apparently, there's a group of hoodlums.
Hoodlums?
Hoodlums.
Hoodlums!
Who dress like clowns and have big butcher knives and go and terrorize and scare people.
What a bunch of jackasses.
Now, we just had, again, reaching back to last episode, we were talking about clowns and who our top 5 scary clowns were. And Eric, there could be real clowns doing real awful things in California.
Those bastard clowns.
Now, there's an update to the clown talk. We haven't talked about this yet, but remember when in the last episode we talked about Twisty the Clown on American Horror Story?
Yes.
And about how he's pretty scary. He's not Pennywise scary, he's not the Joker scary, but he's still pretty scary in his own right.
Yeah.
Well, apparently there is a clown union called the American International Clown Union, which is kind of weird because they're the American but also international. It's kind of a weird sort of.
Yeah. It is pretty weird.
Anyway, and I learned this from Hollywood Babylon. Apparently, they have filed a suit against American Horror Story saying that Twisty the Clown gives clowns a bad name. And that they don't need any more bad press. It's hard enough being a clown. And Ralph Garman said it perfectly. If that's the case, all you got to do is stop being creepy. And Garman's right. Clowns generally look pretty creepy.
Yeah, they do.
Stop being creepy. We don't have an issue. So that's our clown update. Hopefully.
Oh, good.
Maybe
it's a new bit.
Maybe that could be a bit that we continue to roll with for episodes to come. I do not know. We have lost ground in some other bits, but
good.
The NBA season is still young.
No,
we
good.
Be able to,
I don't think so. That bit is dead. Dead and gone. Love it.
And now, Eric, lastly, my favorite story of the night.
And I'm sure it'll be everyone else's.
This is the story.
Is fantastic.
This is the
but not in a good way.
No, it's a bad way. But this is the story that really pushed us to end with the news instead of starting with the news, like we typically do.
True.
Okay, 25-year-old Wisconsin man has been arrested driving in his car, armed with 33 dildos, and chucking them at teenage girls.
Oh, man.
Now, extremely funny, but also wrong.
Incredibly wrong.
Especially when those targeted were in the 11 to 15 range. Now,
it's awful.
It's not good. That's,
on the other hand,
awful.
I just have the image of my head of this guy driving down with his arm out the window and a giant pink jelly dildo flapping in the wind.
Now, for me, where I found the most interest is, because I was telling Eric off air, it reminded me of when I was in high school, and you would go...
What happened in high school?
No, let me finish.
Did something happen in high school?
No, let me finish. You were not allowed as a teenager to have more than 1 or 2 cans of spray paint. So if you went to Ace, if you went to Benny's, if you went to wherever you get your hardware, Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever it was, if you go there and you have more than 2 cans of spray paint, the clerk there would say, hey, by law, I'm supposed to ask you, what are you doing with all the spray paint? Now, it's in this story that this gentleman did not buy his dildos through the internet. He actually went to an adult store. So he bought a box of dildos. We can only expect, because he had 33, he probably threw many already. So
how many is too many? When does it become time for the store owner to say, hey, what are you doing with those dildos?
Well, why do you have so many dildos?
You know what? If it were 28, 29, I wouldn't ask questions. But 30, 33?
No, he had 50 because you have to assume that he threw some already. So
Well, yeah, but, you know.
Are buying dildos like buying beer?
Did you get
like,
them all from one store?
Like, do you? Yeah, I think he did. It was
That's
at one store.
amazing.
So, like, is it like the more you buy, the less they cost? Like the first one's $20.
He bought in bulk? That's awesome!
So if he bought a big, like 50 dildo box that
Assorted dildos.
or actually be way cooler if he didn't buy a big box, but just kept buying singulars. He's like, all right, run this one through. Oh, that's a lot of dildos you're buying there. What can I ask what you're doing it for?
I'd like the box of assorted dildos, please. No, not that one. The one with 50.
It's gonna be a long night.
I have many things planned.
So I just don't understand. A hell of a story, though. If it's the type of story that
If it wasn't creepy, it'd be the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life.
yeah, if it's the type of story that you would hope that no one was injured or hurt because it's hysterical.
Yeah.
But if poor 11-year-old girl has no idea what the hell is going on with that stuff, obviously it's sort of traumatic and that's not good. And we hope that those people are fine, but. That one takes the cake. That's a story that I didn't expect to ever read about. And I guess another aspect that I want to talk about briefly before we end the show is what was going through his head. Who did he talk with about this, and where did he get the idea?
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy a shit ton of dildos. I'm going to drive around town and start throwing them at people. Why? Why not? Can't argue with that logic.
Oh, wow. It's almost like a stand-up comedian. I remember Dave Attell used to talk about how, when I want to buy a dildo and strap it to my head and tell everyone I'm a rhino and run around. But this guy took it to a different level. I'm going to shock and awe teenagers by throwing these things at them. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So on that note...
And what a note.
What would that note sound like?
Wah, wah.
We're going to end another episode of the Empty Room Podcast. This has been episode 10. Eric?
Yes?
Here's to many more. I think it's been a good run thus far, and we're going to continue. We're actually having a special guest for the next one. Eric's going to be on hiatus.
I'm on vacation.
There's no truth to the rumor that he's going to go buy a box of dildo.
Well, I think I'm going to have to one-up this guy. But in a good way, in a funny, good
Eric
way.
would never,
not in a creepy way.
Eric would never hurt anybody, so it's just all fun and games. But yeah, there'll be a special guest. I believe my friend Ed is going to come by, and we're going to do a special Saturday edition of the Empty Room Podcast, episode 11. So we hope you join in. And if you have any questions, thoughts, comments, feel free to check us out and communicate with us via Twitter, Facebook, and you can find all our stuff on YouTube. And we'll let you know when we make that transition over to the website so that we can get on Stitcher and iTunes, the podcast apps, and we'll go from there. Thanks again. Empty Room Podcast, episode 10, in the books, Eric.
Yeah.
Empty Room Podcast, copyright 2014, we think. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Music by High Congress.